I am a modern hero, my name is Paddy Kearney. Not long ago I landed from the bogs of sweet Killarney. I used to cry out so bad, because that was my trait, sir. I listed for a soldier boy in Corbreggan's brigade, sir. Oh, little Mac, he'll lead us on to glory, ho! He'll lead us on to glory, ho! To save the stripes and stars. Howdy, folks. I hope you don't mind that I'm going to eat a little on stream. I'm streaming a little late. Hope everybody's having a wonderful time. They call me Long John Silly Penis, but my friends call me Dick. I can't wait till Ford comes back, revives in full strength. Real American company, real American truck company. Real trucks that don't sound like shit, don't break down all the time, don't make a gigantic nightmare for the people who buy them. Real brand, real represents America. And I hope they start making their parts for their old cars again. That would be cool. That would help people. That would make people very happy. That would be the sort of thing to serve America instead of just their finances. I really hope so. Now, Dodge is a European company, so I hope they die and never come back. For decades now, Dodge has been in the toilet. You could call it Dodge ass, or dog ass, or whatever you'd like to call it. It doesn't matter. Just don't call it for dinner. Yarg! This is pretty dang good. You know, the only piercing that I consider irredeemable is the septum, and nature seems to find that one pretty irredeemable too, because that'll erode and destroy the area in between the nostrils. Basically, everything from dermals, you know, to anything on the ears, most stuff on the, like, snake bites, you know, eyebrows, all that heals, but not the septum. And I can't like look at a septum piercing and not think of the person being led around like a bull on a rope by it. Despite all of our accomplishments, we owe our existence to a 6-inch layer of topsoil and the fact that it rains. The Middle East, on the other hand, exists out of spite and is subsidized by global trade. Oh, it has been for a long time. You know, wit, like anything valuable, has many roots. Unless your wit is akin to a weed, you will draw from many sources. Foremost taproot being empathy, the ability to project your sympathetic mind into the shoes of somebody else, which takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of mental capacity and practice and dedication to be able to actively put yourself in a simulation of somebody else's lived experience. It's good mental exercise. Every tool we've ever used likely has a higher potential ceiling. Ceiling of potential than we thought. It just takes a pragmatic analysis and application to see where that potential can be unlocked and how you can practice the things that you previously thought, or at least took for granted in one way or another, that you thought was hard locked at a certain point, but you can actually go farther. But like my buddy that went to Colorado, you know, he really taught me how, no, you look at it at a different angle, and then you look at it in a 3D, 4D, 3D way. And all of a sudden, you're seeing all sorts of little points that you didn't see before. I think that's pretty cool. You know, the sentiment to send a sinner's soul to hell is not born of Christ, but of the devil. God wishes his creations to dwell with him in the light. And so, if you want to be a good Christian, believe it or not, you actually do have to try to be a little more patient, a little bit more dedicated to the weak and the downtrodden. And, don't give in to, like, I'm going to talk about this later on. Maybe this episode, maybe another episode. I'm taking notes in ahead. But, about the bishop that came and they talked and they said the exact same, at the Trump inauguration, they said the exact same thing that liberals say when they talk about Hispanic immigrants, which is like, who's going to clean your toilet, President Trump? That's comical. That shit's comical. And it's comically cruel to have that to be your only advocate. Like, that's a nightmare. But at least, no, the problem is, the issue is, there are a lot of people who are Christians and hard workers. And that's the main point. Who can serve our economy and integrate into our culture. They just need, as I said, the institution of naturalization services to help give them the booklet, teach them up. In fact, this is still, you can still do this. But ICE operates Gestapos, and they get a lot of money from the government to put people in camps. And apparently people get really, really excited to see roundups of human beings, which is wild, in my opinion. That's, it's not a good sign of, how your society's mentality is. I still like Trump as a unionist, as an American, but unfortunately is kind of a nationalist who has, excuse me, not a nationalist, kind of an internationalist. You know what I'm saying? Not as nationalist as I would prefer. And unlike these fake nationalists like Hegseth and DeSantis, he actually seems to know American history, care about real American history, know that the Confederates are traitors. Don't fight uphill, me boys! And he's never worked at Guantanamo Bay like Hegseth and DeSantis. You know, Pete Hegseth looks like Gavin Newsom. I can't unsee it. Look at two pictures next to him. Everything except for, like, the jaw. And, like, everything else. Gavin Newsom's nose is just a little bit bigger, but everything else looks exactly the same. Exactly the same. And that's telling, in my opinion, because physiognomy is a genuine thing, because your face manifests depending on your thoughts. There's a little bit of, there's actually a good amount of genetics at play there, but as I've said, you train your jaw. You do that mewing thing, like pressing your tongue on the bottom of your jaw, rolling your jaw forward, and going, and not yapping. And aura farming, essentially. Or you take amphetamines and you cheat, and you have buck teeth or shark mouth or Prussia jaw. I have a little bit of that, but I work on it, you know. To steal a line from Brendan Daniel, you should not take advice from some grifter exploiting your emasculation to sell you bullshit. If they have some sort of a product line that just so happens to be the solution to the problems they're enlightening you on, chances are they're not really enlightening you. They're just grifting you in some multi-level marketing scheme. No one should simp for a no benefits, no pension, pay less than a plumber job. I'm sorry. Nobody. Plumbers are great. In fact, I know a lot of plumbing, and I would love to be a plumber. I can crawl around on the dirt without any issues. Crack open the place underneath your toilet, get down in there, and fix the problem. But nobody should be like, a construction job where your back is obliterated, where your knees are obliterated, where you have to, like, a lot of these people end up on pills because they're in so much pain, and they get paid nothing. They get paid next to nothing. They get abused worse than whores, and they get paid less than whores. And that is a disgrace, in my opinion. And the whole H2B shit, you know, where you have people literally working as slaves That's evil. The whole DeSantis taking away necessary water breaks for those slaves, also tremendously evil. I know for a fact the DeSantis cruelty will come back to bite him. It will 100%. All that is so utterly callous and imbalanced that it's going to set him up for failure in this life and the next. 1,000%. You can already see it. He already got, like, what, single digits in his home state against Trump? I'd rather see Trump in a third term than DeSantis get anywhere close to the White House. Creep. Ah, well, let's not worry about that little creep. You know, I said I dislike Italians, that I hate Italians. No, I'll hate on Italians, that's what I'm saying. I'll hate on Italians. I don't hate Italians. I've always loved Italians. They're hardworking, funny, decent people. Make good food. Yeah. And they'll clean my toilets, Mr. Trump. Please don't take them away. The Pinochet guys baffle me, in my opinion. Maybe some people don't know this, but the guy sterilized 300,000 women. Imagine simping as a right-winger for a guy who sterilized 300,000 women. That just seems very modern IDF. That just seems very, you know, Guantanamo Bay shit. You know what I'm saying? That just seems like that off the deep end, like, primordial spawning pool of chaotic nonsense rising up as a great black one and projecting your fetid and foul willpower on these, you know, completely and utterly like, it's less than shooting fish in a barrel, because the fish aren't, like, tortured as they're shot in the barrel. You know what I'm saying? And the metrics are about the same. So the whole Guantanamo Bay shit baffles me. And the whole Pinochet shit baffles me. All the Latin America, you know, insane torture shit baffles me. And I think there is a parallel there to the Christopher Columbus simping and the end zone dance on the Native Americans that I've seen a lot. I don't like that either. You know, half of my political followers were people that were blocked from the mainstream process of politics. And that's a good sign. I don't subscribe to complete weirdos, but I don't subscribe to the mainstream political base neither, and that's most people, really. It's super funny, because the guy who got my alt banned on Kiwi Farms and I are pretty much friends now. I won't speak for him, but I consider him my friend. We have good conversations. It's a little ironic. You know, I was on that alt for quite some time. Oh well, don't matter. You know, the whole AI shit really is not making it like I even want to come back, even if I did get my account back. Even if I did get an apology, which I wouldn't talk about if I did. Maybe I have, maybe I'm not. I don't know. When Null stopped playing cool, obscure songs and instead started playing AI crap, that's the first slippery steps to the slope that start going way downhill, because all of a sudden you're not hunting for things anymore. You don't need to hunt. You can spend more time eating Hollandaise pizza. And then you can just make the AI do it. You can pay some money to some server farm somewhere, and then all of a sudden you can just forget about all the effort that people put into entertaining people in the past. That's exactly what I talk about when I talk about AI. Bit of good winter cooking. Making a bunch of hot drinks, making good food for people. Been good. It's been good. It's actually a strange phenomenology behind bikers, motorcyclists. And I've been thinking about it so much over the last couple of years. And I can say affirmatively, I despise rice rocket, crotch rocket people. I hate them. Sorry, hate them. Can't find anything good about them. They're always the stupidest, most annoying, and scaring the shit out of mom sort of behavior. And they're they're breaking the law and abusing their machines. Whereas the Harley guys, I'm kind of on board with South Park's critique that if people need to dress up and make so much noise that they demand being the center of attention, there's something wrong there. But also, there's like a 50-year culture of that, of people who came back kind of messed up from, the genuine PTSD from being, as I said, being around explosions gives you more PTSD than just being in fear all the time, which swells your amygdala on itself. There's also like concussive damage that can happen to your head. And there's also like the chopper going around all the time, and that's um, pretty intense. And the whole original choppers, where they made them loud and they made them a certain way, I think is kind of a soothing reminder of the fact that you're not in the quiet when Charlie is about to strike, but there's a helicopter somewhere near that signifies safety. I think there's a whole complex thing about that. You know what? The Harley riders, they're using their vehicles as they're supposed to, unlike the people that modify cars to blow air all throughout the system and make horrendous squealing horn noises and popping out the back after firing. But the rice rockets, they're so annoying. And most of them are young, so you can't even say I hate the rice rocket kids, right? Because that makes you a dick. But the whole culture of normalizing that shit, it's normally a like tropical, like Indonesia, like China sort of thing. And I think there's a real reason behind that. Because to be like a biker, because I was biking on my bicycle alongside driving a few cars here and there, but mostly biking on my bicycle everywhere. And my buddy, he inspired me by biking and running in between county lines. And over time, I like worked myself and worked myself and worked myself into the ability to just bike long distances without any stress or any trouble. So I biked around for fun for a long period of time. So I know what the roads are supposed to look like, what they're supposed to sound like, how people generally act. And things have gotten really shitty, like 500% increase in vehicular homicides. The Florida state just like hand waves away anybody who gets killed by a car since DeSantis came into power. That absolute sick freak. And any cop that can like sit on their hands while people are being hit, 23-year-olds to 60-year-olds being hit by cars and by this new Brightline shit, where it's just running through for no fucking reason. Nobody's on the damn trains. And it's just sometimes going like 160 miles an hour. you know? Any cop that you can sit on their hands and not complain about that, and not like try and make things right. I don't know if it's illegal in some instances in some police departments or what, but that probably don't feel like a hero. Probably feel more like a villain. And there's almost kind of a contingency between the criminal shadow and the lawman's shadow. Marie-Louise von France talks about this, and I can't paraphrase her properly. My IQ is like 40 points too low. So go check her out. Go check out some of her videos on the Jungian Ion. That's a good channel to check out, Marie-Louise von France. Instead of this shit that it's like, you'll never believe what this psychologist, Jung just cracked the code. Don't fucking watch shit like that. But yeah, the reason why bikers are kind of allowed to enjoy good weather, not get buffeted by intense wind, is because of the hard work of lots and lots of people growing these trees, making nice roads, paying their taxes into these roads so they don't have a bunch of holes in them, putting trees up so that it's not just immense wind, that can knock a biker off balance and, chill them to the bone. It takes hard work, and it takes dedication, and it takes an entire, it takes a village to raise a motorcyclist. And the sad thing about a lot of biker culture is they think a lot of these farmers and these simple folks just trying to do their jobs who buy SUVs and stuff, they think they're cowards. That ain't right. Now, I'm not speaking for all people, but I know for a fact some of them do. And that's a real rancid culture, in my opinion. And the goal was always to see Null succeed. But we make choices along the way. You could make mimetic fibers of your community funny, well-made things, or charming punctuations, little bits. Or you can make them AI slop and over-socialized drivel, thinking that you're going to appeal to the lowest common denominator and get things done with the least amount of friction possible, and guess what that makes you? Well, I won't tell you. I'm pretty sure you know. Long-term investments mature into a much more capable society. So we should really focus on that instead of focusing on petty bullshit. That doesn't mean that drama isn't interesting, that you can't learn from it. It just means to elevate your shit. Keep it more focused on concepts. And I genuinely do actually see in multiple communities, there's always like a group of 2 or 3 people who just say the same thing over and over and over again. And if I were moderating a community, I don't care if they paid me money or what, if you are going to try and dominate the mind of everybody in the area by repeating your shit that isn't incumbent on other people, that isn't interesting to other people, but in trying to rake them into your own memetism or mesmetism, I'd probably kick you out. No, I said that I was watching Noel's stream for a long time. I was legitimately like on his streams on his 3rd or 4th episode on this account, commenting, having a great time. And nothing is more fun than when you are like leading a simultaneous, like, you know how people jinx each other sometimes because they just think the same thing, they share a brain cell as it were, to have that and then to lead people into that and then to stimulate that local burgeoning mental economy and to make it a nicer place to be before the fucking spammer bots come into your chat and start spamming shit, which is something you really got to look out for. And in the age of AI, you might not even be able to look out for. It might, or unless you get some sort of an AI blocker or something like that. I don't know how that's going to work. But it's much, much better to get people synthesized, integrated, all looking the same direction. And then you can do actual cool shit. Otherwise, it's just masturbation. Maybe a circle jerk around a central point, but still everybody's looking out in different directions. Hopefully, fuck. Boomers could have a long, successful, and storied life, and then one link. They click at one time. Their health, their sanity, their finances are ruined in the next couple of months. You see it. You see it all the time. You hate to see it. You hate to see it all the time. Keeps happening. So don't let that be you. Well, I'm gonna take off and finish my dinner. Hope y'all have a good one.